On today's episode of DeRaud-Messinger Show, we're talking Ryan Wingo potentially leaning towards the Texas Longhorns, and we make our Week 6 Texas high school football picks. Longhorns fans and high school football fans, don't forget to like and subscribe for more content. It's greatly appreciated. So Dylan, Wingo is a 2024 five-star wide receiver from the St. Louis, Missouri area. And Dylan, I'm not even going to get into it too much, but he has a boatload of offers, sitting currently, according to 24/7 Sports, at 42. Now, 24/7 Sports has the wide receiver ranked as the second wide receiver in the nation's 2024 recruiting cycle. However, the 24/7 Sports composite still has him listed at a five-star, but has him as the seventh highest rated wide receiver. But either way, Dylan, five-star receiver, and I usually tend to lean towards 24/7 Sports, and they have him as a second in the class. But this would be a huge deal for Sark if he's able to position himself well, which it seems like he has so far. But Dylan, what are you thinking about all the schools that are competing for his services right now?
Yeah, I mean it's always a good sign. Like we've talked about, like if you're ahead of the hometown team, right? And in this sense, Missouri. I know he's got two older brothers. One went to, I believe, Missouri State. The other one went to Arkansas. So it's not like it's a bloodline of guys that go to Missouri, right? So that almost kind of works into Texas's favor, in essence. Apparently, the last game that he went to for Missouri, though, he did enjoy it. Obviously, that's kind of like a political answer, but it's not like he said he didn't like it, right? So like there's still that like rapport that he's got with the Missouri head coaching staff. Another one is Colorado. He was actually supposed to go to the USC Colorado game this weekend, Devon, which sounds like it's going to be a big one. I think big noon kickoff is going to be there too. So it's going to be somewhat of a spectacle again, right? Which every Colorado game has been so far. But he's not going to be there. So they are going to probably reschedule towards December. Um, but again, I'm always a little nervous of any recruit that, Dion kind of gets his hands on in a sense because he
Oh
is a
yeah.
sweet talker, right? So that is definitely something to be concerned about. Obviously, Texas has a lot of other things going for it, but so did Florida State, and they couldn't get Travis Hunter, right? He went to Jackson State to pair up with Dion. So they've got that going. That'd be one I'd be a little conscientious about, right? But Texas definitely positions themselves well. And plus, Texas is playing really well. And it sounds like he might make another visit to the Red River rivalry game, Devin. So that would be another great way for Texas to kind of make an impression on him, too.
Yeah, if Wingo was to go to that Red River game, Dylan, that'd be a big sign. Of course, he did go to the Wyoming game just a couple of weeks ago. And apparently, I remember Jerry Hamilton on 3 was talking about how like Wingo and 8 family members were at the game in Austin, which Dylan, I was talking a little bit before the call, but if you have more than 2 people with you on any sort of trip, it's probably some sort of inkling that something's going on there. Of course, still way too early to tell. It seems like Wingo's commitment may go to December, but it lately doing it just five-star receivers, they haven't been waiting that long. I know Micah Hudson was trying to be patient about his commitment to Tech, and he ended up committing to Tech really early after,
Yeah.
seeming like he's going to take some time. Wingo, you never know. But like Dylan said, whenever you're competing against smooth talking Deion Sanders in Colorado, who literally is the talk of the town in terms of college football right now, Dylan, it's hard to put up a battle against them. But if you are a team that is going to have to put up a battle against Colorado, Dylan, the Texas Longhorns are in a good position right now, being ranked the third team in the country. But Dylan, Missouri, of course, yet again, I don't want to understate it. You never know what the Tigers have up their sleeve. Michael Porter Jr. in basketball committed there, so
Oh,
there's got to be something. And they have been able to acquire talent recently. I know Missouri has not been a great program in recent years.
well, they're
And
undefeated right now, and they're ranked 23.
yeah, this year, and if you guys watched the Kansas State game, that was a classic. This year they have looked better. Some questionable clock management in that Kansas State
Okay.
game, but you're just
Do we need a
trying.
Missouri breakdown
You're
right
just
now?
you're just trying to get the 61-yard field goal team out there. But no,
Yeah.
Wingo yet again. Don't underestimate a good hometown connection. Missouri being the closest school in terms of the big tiers. But yet again, he's got offers from everywhere. But Colorado, Missouri, and Texas seem to be the ones to watch out for right now. But Dylan, yet again, all things said, all things equal, it seems like Texas is the leader on 3 and on 24/7 Sports right now. Wingo is leaning towards Texas in terms of just expert predictions. On 24/7 Sports, I believe he has 3 right now, including one from Steve Wiltfong, who Wiltfong will change his predictions if needed. So yet again, that's always like a wait and see. But it seems like Wingo is leaning towards Texas, and why wouldn't you, Dylan? You got Xavier Worthy, Jatavian Sanders, Adonai Mitchell, and a lot of fans are clamoring for some other names. But I mean, those guys have been just full forces on offense. What do you think Dylan Sark could do for Wingo offensively?
Yeah, I mean he's one of those kind of talents that it lines up well with Texas, like in the sense of like let's for example say like Worthy. Like Worthy is a weapon on offense. It's not only just a receiver. You see in the way that they use him, like the passing game where he himself will be throwing passes, right? Like one specific example is to JT Sanders, right? So like using Worthy in that ways. I know watching tape for Wingo, you'll see him line up as a wildcat, right? He'll take snaps as a quarterback, and then also he'll be used in the punt return game, right? So like he is a dynamic player. He has a track background. He's incredibly fast. When you're looking at tape, you kind of find out exactly who he is because he's the tallest and biggest guy on the field. And the explosiveness just pops, right? He's just running by literally everybody. I had to make note of his player comparison, though, Devon. Don't always want to say it, but this one was Donovan Peoples-Jones, who also, Michigan legend, right? So I had to bring that up. But
What?
when you kind of look at it, you do kind of does remind you of him in a little sense of like they are the same exact height and size right now, and Donovan Peoples-Jones happens to be already in the NFL, right? So like he's already built to play at the collegiate level. Plus, just I think when it comes to, and you've talked about this, but when it comes to wide receivers, it's kind of what you get. It's a very talented position. You kind of know if they're going to be legit through like how they are really in high school, right? You'll have your other examples like Cooper Kupp, but a lot of the times receivers translate from just being 5 stars, right?
Yeah, and like you said, Donovan Peoples-Jones, he's literally, like you said, he's already the same size as Peoples-Jones, and 24/7 Sports has him as a potential first round pick, Dylan. I mean, yet again, still out of high school, but those 5 stars, they do it by a set amount to equivalent
Yeah.
to the NFL first round. So it looks good for Wingo. Of course, though, the work has yet to be done, Dylan. You got to get on college campus. You got to earn those snaps. But like Dylan said, I mean, the tape is just nasty. I mean, I literally watched like a minute, and I was like, I know what I need to know. Dylan said he's a big guy, and he does stand out on the film. When you look at the film, you're like, this guy's got to be 6'6". He's not. He's 6'2", which is pretty decent. We were talking about Xavier Worthy, of course, Texas's best receiver, who stands in at a listed 6 foot. Maybe questionable, but if Xavier's listening, I think you're 6'4", Xavier. But he's definitely got a little bit more in terms of the height aspect. Of course, though, Xavier Dylan could outrun a rabid mongoose. So Wingo, if they're able to overlap at all, I know Xavier's got NFL aspirations. If they're able to overlap at all, there might be a race in store during the offseason. But definitely would be a huge get for the Longhorns. Yet again, they do have competition from Colorado, Missouri, Georgia, you name it. But Texas, with Sarkisian at the helm, is probably the favorite. Dylan, you'd be crazy if you're a receiver, and we're not seriously considering the Longhorns right now, just with what Sarkisian is able to draw up offensively. We saw that, of course, at Alabama, and now that he's got his weapons in place at Texas, you're seeing a little bit of that too. Everyone's going to feast. Everyone gets a seat at the table. And, of course, for Ryan Wingo and the Longhorns fans, we'll see if he decides to join the dinner party, Dylan. But now we're getting to the high school picks. Texas high school football week 6, of course. These are all and only ranked matchups in the state of Texas. The first one, can we talk enough about this team? We get this team every other week, it seems like. We got number 2 in 6A North Shore at number 21 Sheldon C.E. King. Dylan, how are you feeling?
Yeah, this will be a tough one for Sheldon C.E. King, Devon, to pull off the upset. North Shore, they've been rolling offensively. They're averaging 46 points per game and only 8 points allowed on defense. And plus, they took it to my boys at Spring Westlake. So that one was a little tough to deal with.
Westfield,
Kings
you
been
can't even
playing
get
incredibly.
your own team,
Yeah,
your
see, I'm
boys.
already forgot about it. This is just horrible. Oh my God.
Oh,
I've been distraught
rest in
driving
peace,
around
his
town,
boys.
Devon. Oh,
He
jeez.
goes to
But on the
Houston,
other
can't even
side,
remember the Houston
this is
teams over
horrible.
there.
This
Oh
is
my gosh.
horrible.
All right.
Can we move on? Hold on. Can I talk about King, or do you
All
want
right.
me to
Do
stop
your
here?
thing. Do your thing. Yeah, you're getting canceled.
Turning all red now. Oh, jeez. Well, Kings off to a 4-0 start, Devon. They've had some huge road wins over Allen, Pearland, and Humble. So they've been looking good this year, but North Shore is just such a buzzsaw. They're even making me forget teams that I've picked in the past. So I got to go with North Shore in this one.
Yeah, I mean North Shore yet again. I say this every week. It's just there's some teams you can't pick against. It's a literal handful, but North Shore is one of those teams. I mean, I just put on my notes Caleb Bailey, the quarterback, has been steamrolling people, and he's got help on defense with cornerback. And Dylan, as a Devon, I love to say it, but they're led on defense by cornerback Devon Sanchez, a 5-star out there. So that's always a good look for any defense. I am a big advocate.
Evans are on top right now. Devon A-Chain for Miami,
Yeah,
4 touchdowns. Like,
Devon
you
A.
guys are
Was
doing
on
well.
my bench in our fantasy league. Got me a sweet 50 points that won't be used. But all that being said, CE King had a tough. Oh, gotta overcome that. CE King had a tough overtime win last weekend against Humboldt. Not the greatest look before playing North Shore. It'll be a good game, but yet again, North Shore they don't like people, so I'm going with North Shore
Oh,
here.
jeez.
The next game we got 6A again. What's up with all the Houston connections we got here? Number 8, Katie, at number 25, Katie Jordan. Now, Dylan, I think this will be the more interesting game. This would be the one
Yeah.
I'm tuning into. And just when you look at the stats, it tells you why. Because Jordan has a junior wide receiver, and Andrew Marsh, he was one of the top receiving recruits in the country. I mean, we just talked about Ryan Wingo, but Marsh is also being heavily recruited by the Longhorns, and he's got senior quarterback Colin Willits. What a name, Dylan. That's maybe doesn't roll off the tongue as much as
No,
the
I
typical
know.
quarterback, but it's gonna get there. It's gonna ingrain in our brains soon. But that's a good duo. But yet again, handful of teams. Katie's one of them. I don't pick against them. It's cost me earlier this season, I believe, already. But they have wide receiver Oliver Ginn, who Dylan. I looked at his profile. I don't think he's the brother or anything of Ted Ginn, so it's a little disappointing.
Oh, damn.
And they got senior running back Romel Jordan. I got that combo in this one.
Yeah, and Dave Campbell's they definitely are leaning towards Katie. They're like 22-point favorites here going into this one. So it could very well be a good game. Jordan's not getting necessarily the respect in this one, I'd say, probably just given that they're you don't see them usually in the top 25, at least in the past, 4 years that we've been kind of covering 6A. So this is new to them. And Katie's shown that they're a very good team, right? I mean, they bounced back since their loss to Humble-Tascasita, Devon. They've read off 3 straight wins of over 40 points. Gunnar Nelson's looked great at quarterback. So I got to go with Katie in this one.
Next game we have 4A D1, number 9, Fall from Grace, Stephenville, at number 7, Brownwood. Now this is a tough game because Stephenville has, the recent successes doing in the playoffs, and they've made deep runs. But this is a new year. I can't just say that and pick them. They both have a mutual opponent that they played this season in Wiley. And of course, when I have a mutual opponent to look at, of course I look at that. And Brownwood has fared better in that matchup. I believe Stephenville lost to Wiley. Brownwood had I can't remember if it was a loss or a close game, but I believe Stephenville lost to
They
Wiley.
lost to him.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they lost to Wiley. Brownwood beat them by a good margin. It was still somewhat close, but a good margin. The problem for Brownwood, is it's a young team with only one returner on offense.
Yeah.
But with one return on offense comes 9 on defense, so there is experience just pretty much on one side of the ball. I do have Brownwood at home though here.
Yeah, I've got to agree with you. Brownwood's coming off a good win against Waco Connolly. They won 31-28. They're undefeated right now. They've overcome kind of like what were maybe some worries, obviously, offensively with losing 10 starters, right? But it seems like they're doing fine without him. They're 5-0, like I just said, and Stephenville, usually a pretty good team. Devon, they're currently 3-2 with losses to Midlothian Heritage, and as you talked about, Wiley, and their current average margin of victory is 3 points. Their biggest win is by 7, and I think it was like 14-7. So like they have kind of struggled to find their footing. They're eking out, some wins, so it's not like this is unmanageable. But I think Brownwood facing them is it's not going to help Stephenville right now. So I got to go with Brownwood.
Yeah, this one's such a confusing game for me, Dylan, and I forget to
Yeah.
click the slide. So a little late there, but now hopefully my brain comes back now that we got a quick lightning round. Of course, still ranked matchups. Only, I believe, two this week. The first one being number 10 Madisonville at number 2 Columbus. This is a 4AD2, 3AD1 matchup. I do have Columbus here. I've seen them before, which always gives me a little ounce of joy. I'm going Columbus.
Devin, I probably made this joke before. I don't like picking teams out of Columbus, but I'm going to be going with Columbus. For our next one, we have 1AD1 number 9 May at 1AD2 number 2 Oglesby. I have Oglesby continuing their undefeated season, Devin.
Yeah, I hate to pick against May. They're just a fun team to say, and I usually do pick them, but I do have Oglesby in this one. But more importantly, how are you feeling about Ryan Wingo potentially committing to Texas? And what are your Week 6 games to watch? Let us know down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, have a great rest of your day.